Welcome to the Boomers, Bucks, and Bling podcast, where we turn retirement planning into a bit of a thrill ride. I'm your host, Carl Spiteri, and each week we'll dive into everything from reverse mortgages and staying put in style to Medicare, Social Security, and home safety. But wait, there's more. We're not just going to talk all about money and business. We're going to add some sparkle, some bling, as we chat with travel pros, party planners, and a lot of different topics that's going to help you make the most of your golden years. So grab a cup of tea or whatever it is you want to drink, get comfy, and let's make retirement planning an adventure of a lifetime. Welcome to this edition of Boomers, Bucks, and Bling. Today we have a very special guest, Julie Ferman, who's going to talk to us about dating as a baby boomer. I think it's kind of a unique subject, and Julie, welcome to the program. I'm really glad you can join us, and why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and then
Sure.
we'll kind of get into it.
And I'm really glad we get to talk about dating for baby boomers. My husband and I have been married for 35 years, and we span the baby boomers. He's born in 1945, and I'm born in 1960. So we kind of cover the whole thing. And
Yeah, the
it's
whole
hilarious.
spectrum of boomers.
So, since I mentioned my husband, I'll tell you how I got into this. I basically married my own matchmaker, sort of. First, he sold me a membership at his video dating service. He was one of the franchisees for Great Expectations. They had 50 or so offices at one point around the country. And Gil had, with his partners, St. Louis and Kansas City. And I was a young girl, 29.9 years old, not sure I was going to be able to have kids, and I really wanted to do that. So I did everything there was to do to try to meet my guy. I was working for Ritz-Carlton, long hours. They moved me to St. Louis, where I was from. You know all we had back then, Carl? I don't know if you ever did it. Did you ever place a personal ad in the newspaper?
I never did, but I remember looking at them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all we had back then. And so whenever life would get really dull, I would place an ad in the personals. But when I was moved to St. Louis, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do that here. I grew up in St. Louis, went to a
Yeah.
prep school from kindergarten through 12th grade. Like if they put the word out on the street that Julie was such a loser that she had to go to the personal ads, it was going to mortify me. So I went to the dating service. He sold me the membership. We had a great exchange. He took my money, maxed out my credit cards. And when I finally got to look through the library, oh my gosh, Carl, I was mortified. I was thinking, I paid all this money for this group of people. I didn't see one I wanted to meet. So I knocked on Gil's door and I said, hey, pal, what's the story with you? And he said he wasn't supposed to ask out his members. So I said, what would you do if one of them asked you out? He said, if she was cute, I'd probably go. And I said, good, let's go. Let's go have a date. And that's part of what I want to share with your listeners, Carl, is this whole business of causing things to happen.
Mhm.
Initiate. Don't wait, initiate. If there's an opportunity, you've got somebody in your space who looks intriguing, you don't see a ring on their finger, um, you're wondering how to strike up a conversation. One of my superpowers is helping women especially learn the art of social magnetism. Do you want to see what flirting is? Since we're on a Zoom call together, we can practice flirting. Is that okay with you?
Sure, I'm game.
Okay, so first off, you're in the post office. I'm looking around and I notice you and I smile a little bit. And then I look around and I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I see you again, I smile again. Then you know the smile's for you, right? You might
Sure,
turn around and go,
sure.
who's behind me that you might be
Yeah,
smiling at?
exactly. You
Right.
can't be smiling at me. Yeah.
You smiling at me? But the other thing that's so important about it is you know that she knows that you exist. Guys are complaining to me that they feel invisible to us, that attractive women especially, they will tell me that it's like we walk around in a bubble and we are impenetrable. We got our sunglasses on, we got our things in our ears so nobody can
Yeah.
talk to us. We're looking at our stupid phone all the time. It's a
Mhm.
crutch. When you land in the airplane, I challenge everybody who's listening, don't open up your phone. Talk to the people around you, for goodness sake. It's just a crutch. You see how we all do it?
Yeah, we all do it. We all
Yeah.
do it.
So the
I
first
mean,
level of flirting is engaging like that. And
so put the phone down. Rule number one, put the phone down.
put the phone down. And the second level of flirting, after you've established eye contact, even if you're blushing, doesn't matter. Have a little conversation about anything. Get good at initiating those conversations. Has it happened for you where you're in the grocery store, you're waiting in line, there's somebody in front of you, there's somebody behind you, and you end up in a fun conversation about chunky monkey ice cream or watermelon? Has it ever happened for you?
Yeah, I don't know about those specific
Yep.
items, but yeah, we always
Yeah.
joke around about something, right?
Just having a nice little conversation with somebody. Maybe it's good to wear a flirting prop. If you're wearing a baseball cap and it says LA Dodgers, well, that's a hook. Because she might say, go Dodgers, or she might say, I hope the Dodgers lose because I'm really rooting for Oakland or whatever. Um, but
I don't think we have a
it's
team anymore, but it's all right.
well, yeah, you know what a sports person I am. But the third thing is what really makes the difference. It's when you have a chance to say to someone, hey, let's see if I've got one of these here. Yes, I have. You say, it's been fun to talk with you today. Here's how to find me. And you can share your calling card. It's not a business card. It doesn't have your last name. It has a photo, a phone number that can't be Googled. It might be a Google Voice number, which is anonymous. Some people use the burner app. It gives you stickiness so you can go out there and talk to people and take them home with you. It was
No
fun talking
kidding.
to you, Carl. Here's how to find me. It works like magical, just magical.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
So those are three very, very helpful tips, I guess. Tell us more. I mean, I obviously you like what you do. I
Yep.
can tell that just by watching you talk about this.
Yeah,
So
it's really bizarre. I've never gotten tired of the topic. And I think it's because I'm so clear that love matters more than anything. Our health matters. If we're not breathing, that's a problem. But beyond that, we are social creatures and we need each other in order to live fulfilling lives. And if we're not having meaningful connections with other people, especially if we're single and we're going home to an apartment or an empty home and we're ordering our groceries online, we're ordering our food in,
yeah, yeah.
we're eliminating these opportunities. So I don't care how people find their candidates, only that they do. So online dating is, there are still more people meeting through online dating than any other avenue. But I can't tell you one person who's doing it that says they like it. Oh, yeah, online dating is so much fun. I just love it. I've never heard it. So if you're going to do it well. I teach a boot camp class that goes through all the do's and don'ts of doing online dating and social magnetism, and then calibrating our picker. Oh boy, this is a tough one, especially because we're talking to boomers, right?
Hmm.
It is very common now for women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s, even more, to ask me for younger men. Women typically outlive men on the average 5 years or so. And especially if she's been widowed or she sees her friends or she sees old guys cruising around with their walkers, not very sexy. She's afraid that that's all she's going to be able to attract. So she wants to go younger. But the problem is, take a wild guess. 40,000 people have registered privately with me on my website, julieferman.com. This is since 2001. What percentage of men would you say, Carl, have checked the box even 1 year older than he is? Wild guess.
Probably a very small percentage,
It's less than
maybe
1%.
zero. Yeah.
It's really, really low. And it's for all kinds of reasons. And I don't fight the reasons. I'm just working with
Yeah,
reality.
exactly.
They just think they're supposed to be dating younger. It always was that way. Well, this is the first time we've ever had this many grown-ups out there in our
Yeah.
culture dating.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if a woman's targeting younger, as long as she also keeps her eyes open for the men who are much more likely to go for her. My sister says it this way: we only have a shot with the guy who thinks we're hot. And she's right. It's the first level of a first threshold for a man. And it's not because you guys are superficial and shallow. It's because
Well,
you have
maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit.
some are more than others, but you have equipment that needs to work in order for the species to survive. It's that basic. Even if you're never wanting to have a child, you don't ever want to see another diaper unless it's a grandchild, maybe. I've got a gentleman who's 84. He's my matchmaking client, and I'll take him to an event and I watch what happens. His eyes go to the cute women who are 20 years younger, and I have to be the bearer of the bad news. She might be nice to you at the party, darling, but she's not going to go out with you. She's looking for your son, maybe.
Yeah.
So we got to play with a full deck. One of the things I do with clients is I help them get a grip on reality. I have to check out, how much are they bringing to the table? That's their elements of appeal. If it's a lot, if they have a lot of goodies, if they're the it guy or the it girl, that's
Mhm.
cool. What's the level of selectivity? So I do this Zoom consultation with people, and we're on the call just like this, and I do a screen share, and I've got a whole group of people, usually about 30 people that I show. So if you were the client, I'd be showing them to you, and I'm going to watch Carl's face because I want to see who he goes for, right?
Right.
And that's where I check your picker. And that's where I check a woman's picker. If she's going for the guy who I know to be a bad boy or a player or non-committal, I'm going to let her know that. And I'm going to
Mhm.
let her know if she's overlooking the best catch of these 12 people, she's missing the best catch. Because online dating's caused us, and our whole visual world that we live in has caused us to date like guys, much more visually oriented. And that's the biggest mistake we make.
Yeah. Okay. So what does a 60 to 80-year-old date look like? I mean, obviously
Woo!
you're not
Well,
going roller skating probably, right?
interesting. All over the board. I have seen one of my gentleman clients is a big rollerblader, and he spends half his time in Bali. And when he's not in Bali, he's in Brentwood, Santa Monica area. And he loves to do rollerblading dates. There aren't very many women who will go with him, but he always offers it. This week, I had a fancy date at in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Wilshire at the Boulevard restaurant. That's a swanky, over the top kind of date. He's a super classy guy, and the woman he's having the date with is beyond sophisticated. So that was a date. We also had a really casual date at a pizza place not far from Somas, where one of my gentleman clients lives, close to Camarillo. I had a date this week at a coffee shop in Santa Fe. I had another one at a fancy restaurant in Santa Fe. My other hub is Denver. And Denver, I see people meeting up for walks. Let's meet up at this place. You bring your dog, I'll bring my dog, and we'll get some exercise while we're getting to know each other. Great date. How much does it cost? Zero.
Zero. And you can leave at any time, right?
Yeah, if they were planning to go twice around the lake and she didn't like him after one date, she said, "I think I got enough now. Bye."
Yeah.
But I really encourage people to be warm and friendly to everyone they meet, make friends along the way, and don't toss someone in the trash just because they weren't your person or because their timing wasn't quite right. Sometimes people come to me right now. I have so many grown-up men. I have a whole bunch of golden bachelors that I'm working actively for right now. And it's a challenge, but it's a beautiful challenge. Most of them are widowed. They already know what love is. They had love. They're
Hmm.
hoping to get to have it again. And so the challenge there is he has to be at a place where he's not breaking down in tears on the first date and talking about his wife.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I've got men who are um, not quite divorced, close to it. It's a mistake, I think, for a woman to instantly dismiss a guy because his divorce is not yet final. If there are significant assets involved, businesses, multiple homes, it can take a while to get through the divorce process. And
Sometimes
if a
years and years. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it. And sometimes it's an emotional thing. I had a gentleman in Westlake Village who really didn't want to divorce his former wife unless he had to. He was afraid it would send her into an emotional depression of one kind or another. So they had a deal. Neither one of them would get divorced until one of them or the other found someone they really wanted to marry. And that's what happened. And this lady almost turned him down because on his profile it said separated, not divorced. But I told her the story and she said, okay, I'll meet him. And they're married to this day. But do you know it took a year and a half for him to get that divorce settled? And she wouldn't sleep with him until he was free. So we had to wait a year and a half. And the day they got divorced, the ink was just signed. That he said, Wendy, go get yourself a pretty dress. We're going down to the courthouse tonight. I'm not spending one more night without you. And that's what he said. It's just beautiful. I love introducing baby boomers, much more so than people in their 20s and 30s. We're smarter. We know better. We're usually more reasonable. And we really appreciate love when we can find it.
Wow. So what are some of the mistakes? So you've given me women's mistakes, right? What about men's? I mean, other than the age thing, I guess that's always a mistake.
Yeah, it's all related. The biggest mistake I see men making in dating is targeting people that they really don't have a shot at and thinking that maybe they do, or maybe if they hire the matchmaker and spend $15,000, or some of them are charging 50 or 100 or 150, 300, you can even pay a matchmaker $1 million now. I don't know that I recommend that, but it's out there. But
yeah, I'm a real firm believer in the reverse mortgage and taking equity out of your home to live life's dreams and bucket list. But I'm not sure I could condone it, giving a matchmaker $50 to $5 million, but who am I to say?
We can't promise relationships. So I say do everything else first and make sure you're paying attention to who's around you within your reach. Get good at initiating, get good at smiling, talking to people, asking your friends, meeting someone at the grocery store. So the biggest mistake men will make is targeting someone who really isn't going to go for them. And you can throw money at it by hiring a matchmaker who might be able to get you the first date. She's not going to be able to get you the second date if you can't get it on your own, right? So, and the women, the biggest mistake we make is when we veto, dismiss, discard, toss in the trash, or overlook a perfectly wonderful man for something that's not a key criteria. It's something like, oh, I wish he was taller. Oh, I wish he had hair. Oh, I wish he lived closer. Oh, I have more education than he does. I think I earn more than he does. All of these silly reasons. Do you want to know what the most important qualities are to a woman when we really, really boil it down?
I think our audience would love to know.
All right. And you get to measure yourself against the
It's not hair, I hope.
No,
a little light on that. I have a receding hairline in case you haven't noticed. Yes.
Oh, no. Bald is great. What's not great is if you're not a man of your word. If you tell me you're going to pick me up at the hospital after my colonoscopy and you flake on me, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't
pretty
care
hard to overcome. Yeah.
That trustworthy is the number one thing. And first they come to me saying, I want him to be tall. I want him to be wealthy. I want him to be blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I don't care how long the list is, but I am going to insist that we pick the top 3, not more than 5 critical criteria. Those are the things you'd rather be single forever than partner with somebody who wasn't trustworthy, whose word I couldn't trust. That covers honesty, that covers loyalty. The second thing, it's kindness. The second thing women always tell me when we really look at it, they would rather be single forever than partner with a man who wasn't kind, thoughtful, considerate, caring, loving. All that is within kindness. And the third one is usually along the lines of the fun factor, sense of humor, shared passions, shared values. Never before have I seen the values become more apparent, and it's related to politics. I'll give you a tip on politics. Don't ever ask someone who they voted for. The choices are not usually very good, okay? You can't tell enough about a person based on that. What I recommend you do is if you're hot, about certain issues, go ahead and say, what matters to me most, because I have a politics section on my profiling. What matters to me most is women's rights and social justice. What matters to me most is border security and an immigration policy that makes some sense. What matters most to me is fairness in the workplace. Whatever it is, say what it is and keep everything in the positive. Nobody
I imagine
should.
if they show up with a red hat or something, and you might not even have to ask those questions, right?
Well, what I ask is, because I don't want to spend my first half hour with people letting them rant about politics. What I ask is, okay, you've got one Saturday night. I've got two people you get a chance to go out with. One of them is on the far left, one of them is on the far right. Which one would you tend to say yes to? Or which one would make you more crazy, right? And that just tells me. And the problem is with the people who are on the far right or the far left, I can only introduce them to each other because they don't have tolerance for other viewpoints. And that is the problem. I'm much happier when I see that somebody has chosen, they know how they vote, and they're not judgmental of other people. They don't need to ruin a dinner party. They don't need to tear up Thanksgiving dinner for the whole family because they couldn't keep their mouths shut. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
This is
Religion used to be a more important issue than politics, but not as much anymore.
So speaking of Thanksgiving dinner, what about kids, children? Because I would assume boomers either have grown children, young children, grandchildren, a lot
Yeah.
of them. So
I love to have a really detailed profile so that it's clear from the beginning. The profiles in my world are, I don't reveal age. You'll love that. I do not reveal age and I do not reveal height. I'm over it. The whole height thing, over it. Um, so those are the things I don't reveal. And I also, when there's a match, I don't reveal last names. I don't want people Googling each other and finding out the other
that makes
person's
sense. Yeah.
age. The value of their home, for goodness sake, that's not something I want easily accessible.
Mhm.
People make judgments quickly about each other, but the important stuff I want on the profile, and it'll be clear if they have children and if their children are young or grown. It is important, and it's usually not as important as these other things. Trustworthy, kind, um, the fun factor, values. I remember this one time when there was a gentleman who turned down meeting a woman because her kids weren't driving age yet, and he thought that would be inconvenient. It was so funny. It was 5 years later, and I ran out of people to introduce him to. He's been on so many first dates. I've almost given up on him, but I love him, so I can't give up. And I said, well, what about this person? You never met her. And he said, oh, yeah, her kids were too young. I'm like, sweetie, her kids are in college now. And you've been spending the last 5 years being too fussy about whether a woman has children or not. That's big. That's really the lesson is let's get clear about what truly matters and what might be a preference versus a requirement.
Mhm. Wow. Interesting stuff. What else can you
Never.
tell us about boomer dating? I mean, this is fascinating to me. You
Yeah.
think of dating when you're in high school and college and maybe in your first couple of jobs, but at a certain point, you don't pay as much attention to it. Even if you're single, I'd imagine just like, oh, whatever, you just kind of live your life as a single person. But
I would say that if we are relying on the dating apps, the swiping apps, if we are relying on other people to come up to us and initiate a conversation, I don't have a lot of hope for people. I don't say not to do online dating, but if you're going to do it well. If you don't know what that means, jump on a call with me. I give everybody a free 30-minute phone call. So all they got to do is register with me and they instantly get invited. And I'll tell people, like sometimes they'll send me their dating profile and they'll say, how's this? And I'll see all kinds of problems in it. Simply put, if anything in your dating profile is negative, spin it. Don't say, no one who voted for Trump. Goodness sakes. Say, I'm a good fit for somebody who shares my progressive values or something like that. But you said it in a nice way.
mhm,
And
sense.
the other thing is the ghosting. As a person in business, we get ghosted all the time. More so now than ever. The number of emails, voicemails, text messages coming in, it's literally unmanageable for me to respond to every single one of them, probably the case with you as well. Even though I'm diligent about unsubscribing, still, it's just a challenge. But we have to be the ones to not ghost when it comes to something personal. When you're at the end of a date and it seems like it went well, and he says, "Great fun to be with you. I'll call you. I'll call you." And he doesn't. That's a thud. Even if she didn't like him, it feels like a thud to her.
Well, everybody wants what they can't have, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah, so don't say anything that's not true. And here's a big tip about getting on the first date. Part of the reason why matchmaking has become as expensive as it has is because people have become so discourteous with each other, not returning phone calls, not getting back by text messaging, people having to chase each other down. So if you're in my world and you're my matchmaking client, I'm going to see who intrigues you. I'm going to make sure she's a yes, because they won't all say yes. And then I'm going to go ahead and orchestrate the first date. I set 5 dates a day, so it's not hard if you just do a simple thing. So Carl, I'm glad we get a chance to meet. Tell me when you're available. What dates are you open? When's your calendar free? And you know what women do? We're so bad about this. You're trying to get me on a date. So Carl says, "Julie, let's go out and have lunch together. I'd love having a lunch date. When are you free?" "Well, I can't do it Saturday because I can't do it Sunday because there's this other thing, and Tuesday, and then I'm going out of town." And what are you hearing? You're not hearing that I'm interested in meeting you. You hear roadblock, roadblock. So ladies, save the poor guy. Carl, I'm so excited to meet you. Yeah, I know you like lunch dates. I could do a lunch date on Sunday, or I could do maybe the next Saturday, but I work during the day. So if you could do, coffee date or drinks date after hours or something, that would work. Otherwise, one of those 2 times is going to be good for me. Tell him when you're open, not when you're not. He doesn't want to hear about your girlfriend's birthday party. I promise. He doesn't want to hear about it. And he doesn't want to hear about your grandchild either. He will be excited about your grandchild once he's met you and he has a relationship with you. Then he's going to start caring about what matters to you. But when he's looking at a profile, he doesn't love you yet. So we have to kind of sprinkle in these other things, and we need to make ourselves available for the men who want to spend time with us. There's something about you guys that I've really noticed as you get into baby boomer and beyond. You guys need companionship. You want companionship. Earlier in life, maybe you've got basketball games with your friends, you've got stuff going on with the kids. But if you're older in life and you're living life by yourself, you don't have roommates. You want companionship. So
you don't have roommates. Yeah.
If we want to get into your life, we have to make ourselves available to you and accessible. One more thing about sex. You want to hear about sex, right?
Sure.
It's real
this
simple.
Is G-rated. G-rated.
G-rated. It's real simple. You keep your pants on until such time as you know what sex means to him, what sex means to her. Are they seeing anyone else? If they're not only seeing you, keep your pants on a little while longer, right? It's fine to have a couple of burners occupied on your dating stove. Fine. Go out on a date with Carl one night. Maybe you've got a second date happening with Joe over there. You're not sleeping with anybody. I recommend that women don't rely on the guy to always pay for everything all the time. Because if it's date number 5 and she hasn't reached for her wallet or offered something or brought the picnic for their gathering in the park, she's going to lose her guy. Men need to know that we have a generosity of spirit. And 2 other things. I watched a date fall apart, a match fall apart, because she expected that he was going to say, "Text me when you get home. I want to know that you got home safely." They both drove 20 minutes to meet each other. And because he didn't say, "Text me when you get home," she doesn't want to see him again. He doesn't want to see her again because she didn't text him a thank you for the $130 dinner that he treated her to. Because she thinks she's supposed to wait for him to initiate. So she lost her guy. She also assumed that he would know to ask to text me when you get home. You see how assumptions and expectations are our enemies in dating?
In just about all aspects of life, though, I will say that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's sort of like the Reader's Digest of how to do dating well as a boomer.
All right. Well, Julie, I thank you very much for your time. We try to keep these, a little condensed. Tell our audience how to get a hold of you. I mean, I got to refer you over to 3 people I know right now.
Good. I'm happy to talk with them because it's free. It's private to be registered. It's julieferman.com. And if you're a podcast listener, it's the Cupid's Coach podcast. You obviously are a podcast listener, or we wouldn't be having this conversation, right?
Exactly.
So the Cupid's Coach podcast, and there are over 200 episodes. I apologize in advance for its addictive nature.
Do you have a phone number?
Sure, it's 80.
So we're older. We like using our telephones to talk.
Feel free. 805-371-9557. 805-371-9557. That's my phone number, which I'd like to tell you I hear it ring. I don't, on purpose, because I need to get my work done. But everybody who's new in my world, I will schedule a call with them. And I schedule calls 6 days a week, even Saturdays. And whether they spend money with me or not is not my main goal. I want to serve people. If they're looking for love, if they really want a relationship, and I don't have them in my database, well, I can't help. I call it a database. So tell your people, jump into my database.
Julie, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, Carl. See you soon.
All right.
Bye.